Well, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone, wherever you are. It's good morning for me anyway. It is 6:45 a.m. where I am in Southeast Asia. And we are getting ready to start the day. So, just quickly, there has been a bit of movement. Fair bit of movement, actually. I haven't even really had a chance to analyse the market yet. But we have lifted off. And is that all-time highs? I think we've hit all-time highs again. I think. Yes. Wow. Wow. Okay. Interesting. What actually happened overnight? Did something happen overnight? Why's my screen gone all dark? Anyway, I'll look at that later. So, what has happened? The dollar's sliding, which will make the market cheaper to buy, so that's why Nasdaq's going up, or gone up. Oil prices have fallen, another reason. As deal to Iran war appears close. Yeah. How many times have we heard that? Okay, so there's a bit of positivity that the war may be closer to a resolution. We shall see, I guess. We shall see. Okay, so where are we looking? Whoa. So we're miles off any of our targets. So looks like it might be a bit slow to get into the market for the initial start anyway. Anyway, so let me just double check. I'll double check some of these levels. 15. Hang on. Sorry. Always mark it on the 1 minute. Overnight POC overnight is fine. Previous week I did these yesterday. They should all be fine-ish. Previous week POC. Can get rid of. Let's previous week low, previous week POC, and the previous week value low. So they're all looking pretty good. And we will do the current week from here. We'll do that on Wednesday. So all our levels are marked. Now we just need the market to hit them. So because we've got a fair bit of strength in the market, and we're at all-time highs, I don't really want to enter the market up here at all. So we'll have to wait till it comes down. So my first level is here. So I'll probably be looking at longing from these levels. So will it hit here and bounce off, or will it wait till it comes down here? I'm going to probably target all these areas today, so I will probably, wow. So we've got a previous day high here. How far is that? It's 40 points nearly. So a fair way off any of our targets. Now what's the difference? People might ask, what's the difference between the value high and the previous day high? Now, the previous day high is the actual highest it got to on the previous day, which was the US, New York previous day. So that might have been an all-time high, I think. Now we've just extended the all-time high even higher. Anyway, so previous day, that's just signifying the previous day high. And the previous day value high is just where the value is sitting. So that's where the most volume, the highest point of the previous day, most volume, and the highest value level is sitting up here. So whilst that could be a good one to target, I look more at these, because this is where the now we've achieved that's sort of, there's value sitting up there, but it's not as much as here. This is where the most value is sitting. So if we're going up the other way, that's a point of resistance. It would be interesting to look at. And whilst it might bounce off this, more volume sitting down here. So I'll be targeting this level here. That's our previous day session. So from here, from this level, well, from this is the session. So from this time here, 9:30 a.m. on New York time, this is the session here, which was pretty strong in itself for most of the time. So it's gone, taken the all-time high and then plummeted from there. And here we are today, way up here. So my initial target will still be here, and possibly bouncing higher. Now this could float straight through, because there is that large gap that at some point will get filled. Well, it's not a gap, but that's where the market opened. Market opened here. Market opened there and went flying. So at some point, hopefully, there'll be a bit of selling off, and we come down to here for a bounce. I only want a 50-point bounce-ish. I'll probably do the same once it hits up here and comes back down here. I'll probably look at the same thing until we get back down into our, if we do, get back down into, and then I'll into these levels, our previous day and overnight lower values. So that's the initial plan. Something like that is what I'll probably be looking at. Can I get under? Maybe something like that. A little bit riskier. Maybe do 2 contracts, something like that. I think the first one though will be still, we'll see. Fair way off though. It's down at 700. Whoa. So we look at something like this. Just kind of play around here a bit, I'd say. So people will be asking then why wouldn't you short if you're so if you're predicting the market going down, why wouldn't you actually do the short? And to be honest, it's just that I like trading around historical points, not new developing. These are all-time highs, so it's very hard. Where do you set the stop loss? That's the problem. I like trading when I've got a bit of confidence in the market. Yes, I do predict it going down here, but I'm not confident. See, this could just fly, or it could just range in between this sort of level or this sort of level. Could range in here until Tokyo. So Tokyo is an hour off. At the moment, we're coming into the Australian Open, or what I like to call the Australian Open, or pre-Asia Open, whatever you want to call it. This sort of move here is probably the Australia Open, like the market just taking off from open. So this is all pre-Globex. So we shall see. Let me just try and work it. My laptop's just gone all dark. Why so? Display settings. Brightness. Why is that right down low? That's better. Okay, so what else happened? What else has happened overnight? Gold gains as prospects of Iran deal temper inflation concerns. Dollar slides. Okay. What's Mr. Trump been doing overnight? I don't really know where to look at Donald Trump stuff. I just go to his Truth Social. So if anyone knows where's the better spot to find his stuff, let me know in the chats. There's videos, I won't watch those. So much crap on there. 2 hours ago, Donald Trump, Texas, remember? Yeah, it's more local. Okay. Now, I haven't had a chance to do my... Nothing else seems to be in the news. I haven't done my AI. Yeah, let me spend a bit of time doing my AI roadmap and see what AI thinks. I just do this as a bit of a just a overall summary, just to get it in my head. I don't. Everything I've sort of said and marked out is sort of what AI closely suggests anyway. So we sort of think in the same lines. I guess that's because I built it around my model anyway, or my strategy model. Okay. Now it says it's very boring for you guys because I have to do it off screen. Yeah, I haven't got TradingView set up on this. Hang on. Well, my head's big there, sorry. No one wants to see AJ's head. Yeah, it's going to take a while, sorry, because I haven't got my TradingView chart set up on. I need to dump some screenshots in the chat into the not the chat, into the AI. Is that one? So the way I've set my AI up is basically I throw the 1 hour, the 15 minute, the 5 minute and 1 minute charts. Sorry guys. Do do do. Hang on, sorry guys. Okay. Alright, I've got TradingView on, but I need this mouse. Okay. So we are doing the Asia session. Hang on guys, hang on. As the market's not doing much, this is probably the best time to do it, I guess. Okay, 15 minutes. Riveting live stream so far. Yeah, just doing the AI roadmap for today. 15 minutes, 5 minutes. And let's see what AI is going to tell us while that's still going up. Five minutes. Now drill down to the 1 minute. We'll get back to being prepared tomorrow, guys. All right. Okay. What a surprise. Our A+ setups are pullbacks and to go long. So basically what we already know and want to see. Yeah, so suggesting long from the value high, which long from the previous day value high. That's where our A+ setup. Which is basically what we want to do. Long, the only time the short is from a weak high rejection. Only if 820, 830 swept. 830 swept. Yeah, but I'm not playing around up here. If this was later in the London session, I would probably play around here, but I'm gonna wait till I've got my previous day session and overnight session highs and lows. They're what I'm gonna play against. So it's gonna be a bit of a boring first hour by the looks, because it does not look like dropping in any hurry. It's just not a level I want to play in when it's up here, so sorry, but I don't really want to trade anything up here. Like I am just going to be doing evals today, trading evals, so I'm prepared to take a few more risks than normal, but not yet. It's just, it's still developing. I want to see what happens around Tokyo Open. So for the next hour, it looks like there's going to be nothing really tradable for me. I suspect will be going down, but again, I think we'll probably just chop around here, and Tokyo will do a bit of damage one way or the other. So wherever it comes all the way down for Tokyo, and then we start being able to do some longs, we shall see. But anyone who is trading, and is probably not as risk averse as me, I don't know, this, you could look at maybe some pullbacks like these areas here are where you'd probably look at doing it. So it's just that it's too new. This is only an hour, an hour old. 6 p.m. your time, New York. And we're into the 7. Yeah, what's the time? Yeah, 7:12. So this is actually our range for the this is our orb range for so the only thing I would probably play with myself personally, but you know my thought plan, my roadmap is wait for the market to hit me, so it's going to be a bit of a patient game. But you could do a traditional look at, this is the orb, opening orb for the 7 a.m, 7 p.m, wherever you are, and maybe out of these ranges here. So once it breaks out, it's already broken out with that candle there, but I always wait for a retest back into these. Yeah, so that's too small to worry about. So anyone who's followed me knows I like the orbs on the hour for the next 3 hours. So the orb for the 7 p.m. New York time, the 8 p.m, which is Tokyo Open, and 9 p.m, which is China Open. I like using the orbs just as a visual cue, and like using them maybe if I need to in setups, not to initiate trades, but more to back up the confidence level for my entries from the these historical high time frame points of interest, and using this to like set stop losses or set take profits. I don't actually trade on breakouts, but when the market's going to be sort of already shown its move and it's nowhere near my preferred entry levels, we could start looking at maybe a breakout here. There still could be a bit of oomph in the market. This is why I don't like trading all-time highs. It's just too hard. Like, you've got no historical sort of no historical information to go off. Like, where's it go? How high is it going to go? This is the highest it's ever been in the market. So yeah, there's no levels you can sort of predict. Oh yeah, there's a target up here at 29,850. That's, you know, there's a chance of it sweeping that. We've already got all-time highs now, so there's no levels higher other than the only thing you can look up really now is the like the psychological levels. So maybe the 900 and ultimately that 30,000. At some point that's going to get hit by the looks of it. Might be this week, might be today, who knows. So it's just not an area I want to play around with up here this high. But what you could do, like if you just wanted to use the orb as a and use breakout levels, could maybe potentially look at, once it breaks the orb, using maybe some of these fair value gaps. That's not very strong. Probably this one's more the one to look at. So depending on how heavy or how this level is touched, because that probably will be at least tagged, maybe then look at a long up. My preference wouldn't be to target these areas, but it's going to be very boring live stream if I'm waiting for it to come way down here. So I'm only doing evals, so I might do it. I might do a where's my longs? I might look at maybe a long off this level, just to keep things happening in the market. Sneaky little, might do a sneaky little long from this level after the orb gets broken. But it is looking very bullish. My preference would be, and this is where, like say this session was a bit older, like this, if this was heading into London, I would be more keen on this trade. Because that means that the strength of this session would be stronger. There's only 1 hour in, so I take no real weight off this this session at the moment. But $65. Let's see. So nothing really happened with. It was 18 points with the opening Australian or pre-Asia 7 a.m. 7 a.m. hour. The other thing I use the orb for is just for visually seeing the strength in the market. See, this is my this is my own tool that I've built for TradingView, but there'll be other orbs, which is ORB, which is the opening range breakout. So you'll see if you're going to put into your tools, there'll be, I think Lux Algo's got one. There'll be heaps out there. But the good thing I like using the orb for is the visual sort of side, is just seeing where we are. So see how it's struggling to get even through the mid-range here? This is sort of like if it's above that mid-range for this opening range breakout anyway, it's meaning we're bullish still. Once it starts hitting below, it's starting to be bearish. But until it's sort of up, until it breaks this mid-level, it's still looking bullish. So breakout above. Once it hits below here, breakout below. So again, it's stronger. The orb is really stronger in the New York session. Which for Mr. AJ here, it's just a bit too volatile for me. Plus I'll be looking at going to bed or sleeping at the time when New York's open. So I only trade, that's why I trade the the Asia session rather than New York. So I've got a bit of a pullback here. So with the orb, if you did want to trade it, you don't just look for a wick, you gotta look for strength. So candles, like full candles on close above the ranges. So even that one, it broke, but it was just trying to trap retailers. So it's wicked out. So we've got a bit of a pin candle here. Anyone who trades the just candlestick, which I don't, but plenty make money off just candlesticks alone, but I don't. I sort of been there, tried all that, didn't really have success. So now my strategy is trading these levels, the volume profile levels on previous overnight levels, and the weekly levels, which is a long way off. Previous weeks are down in the 29,300s. So there, the people ask me all the time, what am I trading? What am I actually trading? I'm trading these levels. So the previous day high, the previous day range, which is the 9:30. This is 9:30 p.m. Sorry, 9:30 a.m. New York, which is 9:30 p.m. my time here. So that level is what's called a volume profile, using the FRVP, which is a fixed range volume profile, which is the inbuilt volume profile tool that TradingView has. Now I've built my own tool. I've got a bit of programming experience of where I usually try and build my own tools around this. So I've got this tool already built in that automatically plots the points in the market, and I just use the range just to make sure my points are on song. So today the levels are a bit out, so I've manually put these in. So all I do is I run the previous day, which is previous day session profile session, which is 9:30 a.m. So the open of New York range into 4 o'clock. So my range is 9:30 p.m. my time, which is 9:30 a.m. New York, into the close of which is 4 p.m. in New York time, 4 a.m. my time. I don't worry about the last hour. I just do the range built on that time period, 9:30 a.m. into 4 p.m. And then I draw my rays, or my profile tool that I've built draws the ranges for me, which is just a ray, and I've built templates around these ranges. So we are doing the previous day value high, which is that one. So what that's telling us, I've got a whole, if anyone wants to see in my list of videos, there'll be one on the sessions, how to plot the sessions, like what I've done here. So I do the previous day, the 9:30 to 4 p.m. New York session, and I do the overnight, which is the whole day. So this is the Friday session, the whole day of Friday. So 6 p.m. New York time, which is 6 a.m. Southeast Asia time, my time, through to 9:30, that 9:30 a.m. New York open. So that's where that range is. So that's that whole day, whole Globex London range, up to the 9:30 open in New York. So these levels are important for not just the New York session, but also for the next day, which is today. So I do that, overnight, previous day, the previous day, New York session, and I do the weekly. So that whole week, better seeing on the 15-minute here, the whole week last week, which is the Monday to close the business on Friday night. So that last candle Friday, I do that whole week then. And then on Wednesday, what I'll do is I'll do the developing week. So from today through to Wednesday, I don't worry about, but I'll do a whole current week volume profile. But because it's still developing, no point doing it now. That's what I'll be doing with the daily, these daily sessions. So this one will be the first of the current week that I'll track, but I won't worry about it until Wednesday because there's no use looking at it. These levels are still too new. Like this one's too new to really use to trade with at the moment. It's still developing. The previous, like this current week, is still a bit too new. So at the moment we've had a shot at trying to break out, but the market's still too strong. So this is a very low quality trade for me, but I might look at doing it. Right, so we notice that POC has now moved up. So it's just showing the strength is looking long, as we can all see. So the POC was down here, I think. Actually, I think the POC was down here because I was trying to make that my stop loss. So in an ideal world, I would, if this was a bit more, this was a bit older, this session, I had a bit more faith and confidence in the market, I'd be probably looking at placing my stop level below here. That's how I use the some of these indicators, just to back up my level in the confidence of the trade. I really want to see it underneath a level like this. So where this was the level of value up high, this blue line here, the level of value is sitting for the lows is down here. So it's got a bit of a, all I'm doing is basically looking for the best spots I can put my stop loss. Now because because I'm not really confident in this trade anyway, whether I even take it or not, it's too far away. So that again would lead me to not even really consider this a great trade, but we'll see what happens. Like, let's see what the strength of the down, the bearish sort of sentiment comes in. If this is hitting this really heavy, it might just go straight through these fair value gaps anyway. So if I'm not looking at that, if I haven't got any sort of obvious targets for setting up my trades, it's when I start looking at these little points, node points in the session. See how there's a bit of strength here? It's just saying that there's value sitting up here. So like these ones here. So there's a couple of those. So it's they're all little points you'll look at for setting up trades and setting up entries and your stop losses, take profits. But they don't really count at the moment because we're too new. This is a developing volume profile, so there's nothing really strong enough for me to want to trade this market. I don't even really want to trade this. I'm only doing that in case someone's watching and there's a There's, just to keep the stream a bit interesting, I might look at doing might even look at doing a some micro trades maybe. Just have a bit of fun. Right, so we've broken the 5-minute orb, the 7 AM orb. That's not the China, that is the Australia. So it has broken with a closed, with a and close outside of the orb. So first move of the day looks like it's going to test these highs up here. And there you go. That's a test and a half. So we've swept the high here. See, if you're playing just purely orb breakout, that's how you play it. So you wait for that candle. And that would have been a nice little move, but not for AJ. And the reason I am doing this YouTube channel is not to make megabucks out of you guys or courses or anything like that. I'm not going to be writing courses. I'm really doing this just to break some bad habits I've had lately. I got obliterated a couple of my funded accounts and evals, so I was having a bit of a hard time just getting to like breaking. My main habits were over trading, so I'm trying not to trade as much. I'm trying just to stick to my strategy, which is targeting these areas. The previous day, overnight, previous week, points of interest, rather than just trading all of these little things. So I thought, why not put myself out there, make myself accountable, and just trade live to the world to see, to hang shit on AJ. But that's how you trade the breakouts. And that's not showing any signs. There's definitely no bearish. Nothing bearish in the market at the moment. Now, people will ask, well, hang on, we've got to have a full candle here, close outside. Yeah, that's great, but don't ever take the first move. Wait for the retrace, because usually there's a retrace after. And if the retrace is here and then bouncing off back outside, that's when you look at trading. Setting up an entry using the orb. Wow. That's a real high now. Not just this one, that was just a fake out, just to try and entice some of us retail traders, because it's all to entice us dumb Fs, thinking that we know what we're doing. We've got no control of the market, so it's not us. We just trade based on what the market makers trying to do, and try and get in entries alongside them. That's the idea of wow, that's just going, isn't it? So next level probably is sitting up here at the psychological levels, 900. But these now are real all-time highs. So depends on when market maker wants to start taking some profits off the table to see how high this actually goes. But was it that strong? Was it? I'm just looking today. The news was that there were some talks that Iran are happy to have a chat to Mr. Trump. But how many times have we seen that? And then those talks break down. Anyway, maybe there's a bit more happening in the world than I've read into. Briefly, my 3-minute little snapshot run of the news. Yeah. So, orb level. Traditionally, this is how people would trade the orb level. Is enter on strength through the opening. And that would have been the candle there. It breaks that high. Little pullback here. And that would have probably been the entry in on that pullback. Once it broke this level, then it was off to the races. So if you get sometimes you don't get that little pullback, it just goes straight up. And then you're chasing a bit. So you want to really try and get in on the pullback if you can get a pullback. So ideally that pullback would have been having your stop loss underneath. I don't know if that POC there was developing. Still too early to use, but it's funny how that's sitting on that 50 orb level range. Because remember how I was saying use that as your sort of guide to where the market is in that 5-minute sort of period. That's sort of the idea of it. So if you have, so that's sort of the trade I would have looked at, I guess. That was happening pretty quick, so you would have still had to, you have to have this in your head. You have to have plan this in your head. Because it was never a plan, I haven't even got the areas sort of in my head. So again, I wouldn't have traded this, but if I was going to trade, that's how I would have set up that trade and got in hopefully on a retest of this area. So you probably would have had to put in some market buys at that point rather than setting a buy limit. So you got to be quick scalping. So now we've got our highs set up here. Now it's just how strong the market is going to be from here, and we'll know when Tokyo comes in 20 minutes. Let's make this a bit cleaner. So all I'll probably be doing for myself, because I want to pass these evals, so as much as I want to do some little dodgy trades just for the live stream, I really want to pass these evals. So last Friday, Thursday and Friday I did right. I came back a bit. I was actually in a bit of drawdown on these 5 evals. I'm trading Apex at the moment. I'm copy trading 3 50k counts and a 150k account. So in effect, basically 5-6 accounts, 50k accounts. But my ultimate aim, the good thing with Apex, people ask why Apex. It hasn't got the best name in the business. Previously, especially, but now they've got some new accounts and they're actually pretty good. They've restructured their whole model, so now they're pretty good. And the good thing with Apex is, well, a couple of good things for me, which I'll explain. There's 20 accounts you can trade, so you can have 20 funded accounts and trade them all. So you can copy trade 20 accounts all in one. So I've got 5 I've got 5 funded Apex accounts I'm dealing with. My goal is to have 20 and to trade those. I won't trade all 20, copy trade all 20. I'll probably keep the block of 5 accounts that I'll trade. So the idea is hopefully to have 5 150k accounts and 15 50k accounts. That's sort of where I'm going to go with Apex. So one good thing is with Apex is that 20 copy trading up to 20 accounts at a time, which is pretty powerful. Like, you only have to make $200 a day once, and that's 20 times 5. That's $1,000 a day just on $200 levels of profit. The other thing, I've got no choice. I'm traveling, bit about me, I'm traveling between Australia and Southeast Asia. At the moment I'm positioned in Manila in Philippines, so I'm sort of trading in between Australia and here. Unfortunately, in Philippines, they've just taken they've just banned us for Lucid and Lucid take profit trader prop firms. They were ones I usually use back in Australia, so I can't trade those over here. If I even set up a trade, make one trade, the conspiracy theory is that they'll block your account. Not so much block the account, but wait till you hit payout. They'll do an eval of how you've traded, and if they see that even with the VPN, they can stop you taking profit. So not worth the risk. So at the moment, I can do enough damage with Apex. I'm just going to sit with Apex, and see how we go with that. So the next levels of interest, if you're not trading how I'm suggesting, which is these historical higher time frame points of interest, are these fair value gaps. I don't trade this way, as I've said about 15 times already today, but these are some areas to look at. It's no use trading up here. You're in no man's land. All you're hoping for is that that breaks the all-time high, which it could. And that all-time high is like 10 minutes ago or whatever, half an hour ago. So still too raw. But if you're just doing some quick trades, again using some of these what I see just from what I've painted on the charts, are these levels. Maybe that, rather than, because this is too new to use any of this really. When I say this, the current Asia session volume profile, that's too new. But these are reaction levels. So the reaction level here is still, for now, it's only been broken once, is still this orb, 5-minute orb level for the 7 p.m. New York time area. So as you can see, they're not strong confidence building trades really. So if there's been a reaction off that fair value gap. A lot of people don't trade these fair value gaps, but they are reaction points. So I don't really like trading these, but if it fits my story at the time, I'll look at it. And to be honest, that the target wouldn't really be, if I'm doing a fair value gap like that, the target would have been that first higher. I want to get in, get out. I don't want to sit in the market and hope. So it's just too big a risk trade. But I'm happy to do a negative return, like RR risk reward ratio. I'm okay with doing that where I need to. Just take little base hits. That probably would have been the target for a trade like that. I'm just showing other ways to look at the market. So by golly means, don't friggin' copy me. One, I'm not even trading this, but I'm just doing this just for some visuals for the stream. What to look for. But that's a very high risk, low reward trade. But it is something if you're just learning. Let's take that off the market so no one sees. This is going to be a bit of a slow morning for me by the looks. Which means a shitty live session for you guys. But like I said, I'm selfishly not really doing this for you guys. I'm doing it for me. I need to get rid of some bad habits. So let's put myself under a bit more pressure and be a bit more accountable for some of the silly trading I've been doing. So the highest point there is 29,883. So I suspect we still might go up, at least to hit the 900, just on a psychological level. That's just a strange point for Mr. Market Maker and Mrs. Market Maker to look at. So are we going to look at these higher highs, 900s, and the Holy Grail, which at the moment looks like a 30,000, looks a long way off. But I would suggest that's sort of the areas that are getting pretty close. So somewhere this week, I'd say we'll hit these levels, that 30,000. But a little bit more about me is I don't have the years and years of experience in the Nas futures. My background, I've been in crypto is mainly where my experience has come from. So I trade crypto, just BTC. But there was a period last year I lost my. I trade with real money, or my own real money in the crypto market. I'm still doing it, but I had an account. My live money got liquidated last year, so I just needed to one, build that back up again. Two, I just wanted another stream of income coming in. BTC alone was just getting a bit boring, so I started back in sort of November-ish. I started hitting the prop firms, and I was doing okay. I was doing okay with Lucid and Take Profit Trader in Australia. I was getting some payouts there, but for a number of reasons, I wanted to do a bit of travelling. My wife's in Australia still, but she's looking at coming out to. She's working and looking after a couple of dogs and kids who are a bit old, so we've got time to get out of Australia. So we thought now's the opportunity. So I'm set myself up over here in Manila at the moment. I can come and go from here. I've got the right visa to now come and go anytime I want from the Philippines, and we sort of plan on doing some travel around Asia, which we've done a bit of traveling, and more into Europe, sort of doing some traveling around Europe. So trading, if you can make money online from trading, that's a perfect little way to go, little thing to have in your back pocket to trade wherever you want and whenever you want. So I thought I will try and get myself up to speed with using other people's money in terms of the prop firms. A low risk entry in, and I can hopefully get some decent money coming from that, not just rely on crypto and trading crypto. So my live streams will be purely on NAS. I've also do gold, but I'm probably more I just want to get NAS worked out. NAS more than anything. Gold is probably, to be honest, gold at this time is probably a bit better. Well, I won't say that. There's a lot more opportunities in getting entries and whatever in gold on this Globex sort of period. But AJ, I want to drill down and make sure I sort out NAS, and then I'll maybe look at going back into gold. I have done a bit on gold, but I'll be centering my my streams around NAS. There's enough movement in the Asia market. Oh, did we? No, I didn't even see that. Sorry. We cleared that fair value gap. Where was that sitting? Can't remember. I was talking too much. Where did I have that actually? Yeah, don't know where it was. But again, my where did I have it? Must have been here. Yeah, here. So the fair value gap was sitting there, which looks like we've mitigated. I think I was looking at a long, so where would it have been? There. This is a very low risk trade, but I think I had something like that. I can't remember what it was now, but see, that's a very low RR. That's a negative RR. That's not a great trade. So you would have it just underneath the 5-minute orb. And the other reason I look for as well is on the hour. These first 3 hours are important levels, or important time periods. So we're coming up to Tokyo official open, which is 8 p.m. US time, 8 a.m. Southeast Asia, where I am. I would want to see how that market reacts, how Tokyo reacts. Is it going to continue to strength up? Saying that it probably is, but if I wanted to guess or predict, but let's see what Tokyo wants to do. So Tokyo could quite easily just smash this whole, go up and down, build a build the next 5-minute orb for 8 o'clock. That could take out that whole, in that 5-minute orb setup, that could take out this whole range, this whole 7 a.m. range quite easily. So I wouldn't be trading this time anyway. I'd wait for Tokyo to show what it's got, and then we're going to have a better idea of where the market's going to go. If there's going to be some more strength, if Tokyo comes out strong, all hot and bothered and strong, who knows? This 30,000 could be on the target this session, this Asia session. The last couple of weeks, again, my experience is more in the crypto, which is 24/7. So I'm still getting my head around how the Asia session and London session, especially, sort of work. I'm getting experience in that. I bought 18 months worth of data, specifically so I could have a little bit of, or gain a little bit of experience in how these markets work, how the sessions work, and that 18 months worth of data I chucked into AI. Yeah, I know I cheated a bit, but bad luck. You may as well use the tools you've got around you. And I built a little strategy for Asia sessions and the London sessions. And what I've sort of got out of it is the Asia sessions will take, now this can change, obviously. It can just go in one direction. But what it usually likes to do is take the highs and take the lows, all within the same sort of session. Now that's not 100%, obviously, but I'm building a little bias on that sort of session or plan. So I built a what's called a GPT with ChatGPT, which is just using my experience, using that knowledge I got from that, and building it around my strategy. My main strategy is the volume profiles and the orbs, using those as my target levels for entries, take profits, etc. With crypto, I trade that totally different. Eventually, if there's a bit of interest in what I do, what I might do is I might actually introduce some prop firm crypto trading into the stream, if there's interest in what I do. If there's not, which I'm not really getting much interest, which is fine, not doing it for that reason, I might try and, because I haven't really used prop firms in crypto. I know there's one, Patrick Whelan, the nutter. He's so good though. Like, everyone seems to bag him, but I think most people are probably jealous of what he does. He seems a pretty good trader, good scalper. Takes a lot of risk, but he's got a bit of backing behind him to take some of the risks. He'd be making a squill on prop firm affiliate trading and whatever else he does, but I don't mind his stuff. He's quite entertaining. Where was I going with Patrick Whelan? Can't remember what I was talking. Oh, he seems to be affiliated with someone called a prop firm called Warbucks. I don't know if any of you guys have. Chuck in the chat, actually. I'd be interested in knowing if anyone's using Warbucks for crypto. Eventually I'll probably look at, if I do crypto, maybe introducing crypto in the market with a prop firm like that. I won't do my own funded money. Well, it's not funded, it's actually my own live money. That's going to put too much pressure on the AJ. But happy to have a bit of a play around with some prop firm money. So that didn't. What was? Why can't I find my? It was that sort of thing, wasn't it? It was about 80 and 80. No, it wasn't 80 though, was it? So I wanted it under the... Yeah, that would not be a good trade. I wanted it under here. I think the fair value gap was here. Oh, I can't remember. Alright, so we're in Tokyo. What is Tokyo doing at the moment? So we'll set up our orb for Tokyo. Yeah. That shows why you don't risk a trade just around the opening levels, or the opening times I should say. But see how it does use the orb level as a point of interest. So it's tagged right on and bounced off. Doesn't mean that's going to be it. It's not going to go back there, but it does react off there. So that's why I like using the orb with my historical volume profile levels to set up the trades. So if this was up here and I was using, well, I don't, hang on, that's the previous day POC. So if, say this was up here and I was basing a trade around that, I'd be setting up a trade off the POC or the previous day value high or lows, and using something like my orb level for taking profit, or setting up the stop limits, because they do work. Just wish I was in a couple of trades, but I'm being patient. A few weeks ago, when I was going a bit stupid and over trading, I was doing these trades. Sometimes they're working, but sometimes they weren't. So I just wanted to limit some of that over trading. But this is on my this wouldn't even make a C plus sort of entry for me on my current sort of strategy. This is more this is almost a D friggin' risky trade. I'm just showing you, just giving you some ideas, just how to look at stuff. All right, so not crazy, 30 points. So now we've got two sort of areas. We've got the opening range, the pre-Asia open, and we've got the current Tokyo orb level. So we might, I would say, we could go the whole day here, and just because we've broken so high, we might not come down into these levels for Asia. We might not, don't know. We might just sit in this sort of range for the whole session until London. So it might be a bit of a boring, but you know, that in itself can open up opportunities. Not so much the way I trade, but open up some opportunities with the day if you need to trade. So this sort of stuff, just come down and bounce in between these levels. Look, and these are just guidelines, so they're just area rather than before it sort of takes off again, and then maybe London. And if I come back in London, I might, if there's a bit more interest in London, interesting stuff happening in London, I might do a session in London, because I want to start passing some of these evals, so I might have to come back in London time. Now these areas, they're just points of interest, let's say. Once the level's broken, the level's broken, so I have less confidence in using them as an orb sort of breakout, but I have them on my chart still for points of interest, so they're areas, so they're target areas. So once it breaks, it sort of its target areas. What am I doing? Sorry. What am I doing here? Whatever. That sort of, so it's just little areas to keep on your chart and watch the reactions of those. If it respects it, it's a good indication maybe it's still going. There's still strength in the market. This mid-range is the ultimate test for the orb level. If we're under it, we're in a bearish sort of point at that point in time. If we're above it, we're still strong. Again, don't use them as definite holy points of grail. It's not that. It's more if you can use it in your trading setups, if that makes sense. Just points of interest. So it'll be interesting to see. Okay, while I'm talking, we did break the orb. So that target, like at the moment I won't do these, but in London I'll be using the volume profile, these points. If I've got nothing else for London, if I haven't got these historical points of interest, previous day highs, POCs, previous day value lows, overnight points of interest for reference point for setting up trades, I'll use this as it matures. At the moment it's only a couple of hours old, I won't use it. But how you use it is something like this. So if it did break and I had the right mindset that I wanted to trade into this area, that would have been the first target, that value high. Later, not now, but later later in the session, going into London. But see how these levels are what you can use to set up your trading, set up your scalp trades or whatever you want to do. Anyway, that's how I do it anyway. So here would have been something you could have looked at. Again, no, I'm not looking at it, but something like this. So off the orb, and we never. Oh yeah, that came back. But off the orb. So in an ideal world, I want that to be below this, because as soon as it hits anything under, I'm thinking at this point in time we're short, we're bearish. So if I can, because it quite often just comes, tests it, and then pops back up. That's sort of what I'm basing my setups with. So in an ideal world, and the lower, if I am making a trade that is negative RR, I'm only doing that for a reason. I don't really want to take those trades, but that's sort of what I would look at. But again, see how weak that is. It's only a risk reward 0.85, not even 1-to-1. It's not something I'm looking at. But that's the trade if you're going to do that. So that came down nearly. Actually, the first candle, solid candle out, did break. The pullback was 2 there. So, and then it came back and did it again. So, but that's a very high risk, low reward trade. And the other thing is, like when you're taking profit, these are just points of interest. Doesn't mean, see, if you look at this level, I wouldn't want that to hit that line. That would be the, see how there's this little, that's where I would set up my take profit against there, which coincides with these levels. So it wouldn't necessarily be to the actual line. It would be to the, I look at the developing nodes as my interest levels for taking profit, stop loss, etc. So again, these are not trades I would or I am taking. I'm just trying to sort of relay how my mind works when I'm setting up trades. So unfortunately, you're probably not going to see some trades from AJ in the Asia session because we are a long way from here. If we had a really, like the next hour candle, which is the 9 a.m., 9 p.m. New York time, is the China Open. If we had some candles coming way down here and we broke maybe this previous day high, I might look at setting up some trades into this level. These areas act like magnets. So one way to trade them is off the levels. Another way to trade them is into the levels. And where's my oh, didn't I mark that? Whoops. That's a previous day value high. Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mark that. Not that automatic because we were nowhere near here, but that's the first level I would be looking at. So maybe as we get into these, maybe at the previous day high here, I don't know. It's a lot of water to go under the bridge, but maybe I'll be looking probably here, maybe for a scalp back up. Ultimately though, I'll probably be looking at shorts into these areas, because if it comes down all the way down to here, that means there's a fair bit of take profit involved. So we're going to be breaking all this structure here, all this strength structure here. So we might be a bit more bearish at this point. So it might just go straight, but it will probably play around. This is the previous day high. I might play around that level, but I don't usually, as discussed earlier, I don't usually take this as a point of reaction back up. It's more for a reaction off as a resistance level. But it all depends. All depends what's happening in the market. So my goal, just predicting, looking what I'm suspect to see, is probably I might take a trade up, but I'll be more looking at this level as trade down. So if it once it breaks this level, this previous day high, so that's just one candle has got there. So it's not where the value's sitting on the previous day high levels. The previous day value, as indicated here, this is where the value high levels of volume are sitting. So these are the areas I'm looking at. So I'll be interested maybe in a trade down into this level and then a bounce off. So depending on what happens around here, it will determine if I want to trade down to here or just wait and do a long off that. I don't know if that's making sense for me, for you guys, but so maybe it'll do something like this. Can't do it. So bounce off and then target this area. So that's the area. That would be more my A plus sort of setup. So for a long off there, maybe it comes down a bit, and a long back up for however long it wants to go up. If that makes sense. That's my that's what I'm looking for. But we are a long way off that. So I suspect we might just be chopping, because if that was to hit that 30,000 mark this session off Tokyo, I would have suspected a bit more action with that 5 minute opening. But who knows? That could change in one candle. So what do I have on my chart, just for interest sakes? I've got the 200 SMA, the 50 SMA, and the VWAP. They're my main indicators I use. My chart looks very messy, I know, and just the fair value gaps. So most of my stuff, my indicators on the charts are for interest points only. I don't use indicators to set up trades or anything like that. I use them just to visualize where I'm in the market and use sort of my experience and just from how to trade those levels. So for fair value gaps, I just use Lux as this is their paid version, but you don't need that. I can't remember what I was using off the Lux paid version, but there's a free version of their, I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's called Smart Money Concepts. Their free version, but really all I'm using that for is, what am I using that for? I don't even know why I'm using that. I don't probably use it at all. I think I'm just using that, it's just for the change of character, just so I can visually see without thinking, just for change of character levels, break of structure, I thought I was using it for... Oh, sorry. That's my one. I was mainly using it for the swing structure. Just marking at the high highs. Show swing structure. No, it's not marking at the moment. Anyway, whatever. So the free one's fine. Don't go and pay for it. Well, go and pay for it. It is a great... It's actually a pretty good indicator. It does a lot of the smart money concept stuff. I don't really trade that way, so I don't usually use that. It's got a fair value gap in there, but I don't even use it for that. I just use this one, which is Jacob Magleby, so you don't even need Lux Algo. I just like seeing those levels, so I don't trade those levels. I just like seeing them for setting up trade entries and stop losses sometimes. So that's on my chart. So it is a bit of a messy chart with the session, the histogram session stuff as well, but I'm very visual, so I just need an overall. I need to look at a chart at a glance and see, oh yeah, this is what I'm looking at. Alright, so it has taken the highs. So that would have been an okay trade out of the orb, or off the orb. So first level will probably be to 900. Just from a psychological viewpoint, a lot of retail traders especially will be setting up their take profits or whatever from these levels. So there's a lot of liquidity sitting up at these psychological, and that's all we've got. We've got no history to go off these levels, so all you've got really are the historical psychological points of interest now. So again, not a reason why I want to be longing in this market. That's probably the direction of the market, but what's the point? But the session is certainly building more bullish. Proof of... So that's... Where's that in? 864. Yeah, so proof of control is moving up. Again, we're only 2 hours into the session. Not even. What am I talking? Yeah, 2 hours, 2.5 hours into the Globex session. Very slow. So next time frame we're looking at is 9 o'clock, which is 35 minutes, and I don't think I've got it in me, guys. Got a few viewers, I've got 30 odds, but I don't think I'm going to add any degree of weight into showing anything decent for you guys. Unless you want to hear my nasally voice rattling on with my crazy ass Aussie accent that no one can probably understand. That's a funny thing in the Philippines. That's one reason I chose Philippines as sort of base in Asia over Thailand, Vietnam, other areas I was looking at setting up, is the English levels. In Philippines, they speak great English here, so. But even here, they don't understand AJ's accent. My accent's probably stronger than I anticipated, but at least I can understand them. They speak really good English over here. Wow. There's certainly some strength in the market. So what else is happening in the world? Has any news come out? I'll just get my news from FinWiz. No, it's just mainly centered around the over Iran potential deals or talks for the 15th time. They're back at the, looks like there's some positivity in the market because they're back talking, well, setting up talks maybe. I'm not a big trader on the news. I don't really look. Whatever's happening, the charts will tell you. So yeah, you'll get the wild swings and you'll get caught out, but you'd probably get caught out anyway. If the market wants to go down and you're going long, you're probably going to get caught out anyway. So by knowing the news when you're already in trade, what's the point? It's going to happen anyway. But set your stop limits. Just make sure you set your stop limits, and for that matter, set your take profits if you're in your trades. So that's my real only rule with trading news events, because I don't really trade them, is just set your stop limits all times. Stop limits is the main thing. And I found that out with my crypto live account last year. I didn't have a stop limit and just watch my account liquidate on a well, there's a couple of other reasons. Don't worry, I won't go into that and bore you to death on that, but I made some bad trades, bad entries, and I was mainly, my main problem was I was what do you call it, hedging the market at that point. So I got caught both ends of the stick and sold into when I was supposed. Anyway, long story. Crypto, my friend for a couple of years, but in one little sitting I lost that account. Are we going to take this again and just continue higher? Swept that high. Some real strength in the market. 900's looking closer. It'll be really interesting to see this 30,000 go though, when we hit that. Will we get there in the London session, or will we wait till New York? Makes sense to wait for New York, doesn't it? It's getting closer though. There we go, there's 900 hit. See how it hits straight away and there's a reaction off it. Now it might just go straight through it, but they're just areas of points of interest of just reaction levels more than anything. So that's why they're called, and that's why they are just psychological sort of areas of interest. So at these levels, there might be people who have set up short limits for people anticipating, oh, it gets here, it'll bounce straight down. So there could be some stop loss liquidity taken from these levels. So that's why it'll probably bounce up into here and continue higher. We should wait and see, but that's what Mr. Market Maker likes to do. He likes to sweep liquidity levels. And there'll be others just anyway, that's how I read the Market Maker, and that sort of makes sense to me. One thing of interest though is I have also a volume oscillator down here, and where these candles are is the biggest, like I call them institutional candles. So there's institutional buyers, sellers in the market. Like they're big, but they're not this would have been on New York. Yeah, so that's the last sort of candles for New York on Friday. So that's pure manipulation. And these bigger, stronger candles usually indicate to me that there's institutional players in the market at these points. And interestingly, like they're definitely bigger players in the market, but there's not that much big money. A lot of this is retail investors, smaller, normal level buys in the market playing out. So it leads me to think that there is still a bit of strength to come. We haven't even hit the big market makers that are pushing the market up higher. So it's gonna be harder to see these levels being attracted, but that's what the market makers may be looking at doing. Maybe just now taking profits off, because they're no doubt they're in this market, but they're in this market from these levels. Or the big players, they're already in these markets, so they're not the ones that are going to be taking like entering the market at these levels. They're probably more the ones that are going to be taking their profits off or setting up their next moves. So they're always ahead of us dumb fuck retail traders, unless they're going to start building big candles in here from these levels, just moving the market up. Because anyone who's bullish in the market, they want to see 30,000. That's just how the mind works. If you're in a long here, you want to see these levels hit, like the longer swing traders and whatever. So that's why it'll probably, the market might get pushed up to here and might not even hit these levels initially, because people are looking for that psychological point, 30,000. So for a bit of time, we might just play around these levels where the bigger boys are taking profits. So Mark might just play around. I'm just predicting all this. I'm just talking for the sake of talking at this point. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm just trying to give you an insight how my mind works. So 20 minutes to China opens. I don't think they're going to be the ones that are going to be moving this market either direction. Tokyo would have suspected be the bit of mover, and it still might be, but there's not that much volume in the market. So I don't know if I've got the patience to see Asia come through, Asia Open come through. So I might call it quits here because I'm not getting into any trades. I might call it quits here, and I might come back in the London session. And hopefully our market direction is more down here. But if it's not, our Asia session volume profile strength will be stronger, and I'll have more confidence on setting up trades from these levels, from the new session levels. But for now, we're too new into the market, so I won't be setting up trades from these levels at the moment. So it's probably a bit of a waste of time sitting here waiting for things to happen when it's more market positions is nowhere near where I want to enter, and timing wise I don't want to use the volume profile Asia session to take trades from either. So old AJ would have been making some stupid trades, but I'm trying to be a bit more disciplined, so I might leave it there, guys, and hopefully come back in the... So did we break it? Yeah, so we've broken the 900. Yeah, so I might come back in the Asia session, the London session, or just before Asian ends. So maybe what time is that? What time's the London session? I think it's 3 a.m. New York or 3 p.m. my time. So I might come back about 2:30ish. So watch out. Anyone wants to suffer through my dulcet Aussie accent tones and my boring chat of where I see markets going or whatever, feel free to join me. I'm in closer to the London session, so about 2:30 p.m. in my time, 2:30 a.m. New York time. So I shall leave it there, guys. Good luck trading. Hopefully whatever strategy you guys are using is better than mine in this market, but it's very strong, very strong. All right, see you guys.